Here are some of the most deranged and unhinged things that people genuinely thought it was okay to say to me after I lost my baby. He's in a better place now. Well, what did you do? Like, while you were pregnant with him, what did you do? And this one, this one came from a pastor. Well, how long have y'all been married? So y'all aren't married. So you guys married out, so you guys had a baby out of wedlock. Well, sometimes God punishes people for sinning. And, fornication before marriage is a sin, so maybe he took him away because you didn't deserve him. Exactly like that. Wow, I'm so sorry. So, when are you planning on having another one? You're really pregnant again? He hasn't even been gone 4 months and you're pregnant again? So, you want to have another baby because... do you just like being pregnant? I don't understand. Like, you didn't even give yourself time to grieve. You didn't even give yourself time to mourn. I think you just like being pregnant. Unless the words you have to tell me are, I'm sorry for your loss. Shut the fuck up. Here are some things that people have told me that have actually meant a lot to me. I lost a baby too. I understand if you don't want to hear my story right now, but I feel like if I tell you my story, it might help you realize that you are not alone. And I honestly did want to hear her story because it felt good to feel validated and know that this happens to other people. And this woman actually listened to me tell the story. And then she asked me this, Jen. How are you and your husband coping? How do you feel? How does it feel to see other babies that were his age when he passed away or at the age level that he should be at? And the reason why that one meant a lot to me is because I love babies, okay? But for a while I would get so I would always feel happy seeing another baby, and I would be happy for the parents. It would just make me feel kind of jealous and resentful that I didn't have my baby. Another thing is, yes, I want to tell his story, and yes, I want to talk about what happened, but please, 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 don't be that guy to pressure me and hound me on what happened. Because when I want to talk about my baby, he is more than what heart condition he had. He is more than what happened to him. He's not just another cute little story to tell. He was my baby. He was a person who should have lived more than he got to. He deserved more time than he got. He had 2 parents that loved him so very much. He had a brother that loved him so very much, and he still asks about him, and he still gets confused when I tell him that he went home, because I didn't know what else to tell him. So I told him that God took him home, and then I left it at that. And he still asks questions about him. Yes, he did have a heart condition, and yes, for those of you that don't know, my baby had a heart condition, and he was murdered by malpractice at 6 weeks old, and I held my baby as he took his last breath. And I have never been the same since. I still have nightmares about that night. And that brings me to another thing that means a lot whenever somebody tells me this. It wasn't your fault. And the reason why I say it means a lot is because, yes, I get told that it's not my fault a lot, but I really, really do blame myself because the way it happened was so, like, just unexpected. Like, he had a feeding tube in. For those of you that don't know and are just seeing this video for the first time, he had a feeding tube and he had to be burped after 4 swallows, and then he had to be burped again when he was done, and his bed had to be laid up 40 degrees. I fed him the way I was supposed to. I fell asleep and I accidentally slept past the next feeding alarm, and instead of waking me up, the nurse fed him herself, did not burp him at all, and laid his bed flat and let my baby choke, ultimately causing severe brain damage, causing him to be unalived at 6 weeks old. So yeah, I blame myself. I feel like if I would have stayed awake, or if I would have woken myself up, he would still be here. I trusted somebody with my child's life and there's a part of me that knows that it wasn't my fault, because at the end of the day, she was a professional. I should have been able to trust her. I put my trust in this woman, and she, like, squandered it, and she just abused that trust, and she took advantage of my trust. And I still feel like it's my fault, because I should have been his mother, I should have been his protector, and I should have stayed awake. And I didn't. So, the more you tell me, you cannot tell me enough that it's not my fault. Because yes, it will go in one ear and out the other. But it still seeps into my heart. And I do hear it, but then I forget about it the next day. So you can tell me 1,000 times that it's not my fault, and I still won't believe it. And like I said about the whole, what happened to him, what happened to him, what happened to him, what happened to him, I want to share his story. I want to share what happened to him. Because nothing happened the way I wanted. Nothing happened the way it should have happened. He should have went home. He should be home by now. He should be getting ready for his second heart surgery. You know what? He shouldn't have even had a heart condition in the first place, because first of all, he was a baby. Not only was he my baby, but he was a baby. And he was a lot more than what happened to him. He was more than the heart condition he had. He was more than what happened to him. He was a spunky baby. He was a survivor. He was a warrior. He was a fighter, and he was very sassy. He was a small boy, but he had a loud personality. He was very opinionated. He liked his own things. He loved to watch Neighborhood Wars with me. He also had a very distinct like for the color yellow. He loved to be held. He loved to be sang to. But then he also knew when to tell you enough was enough. Like, he also knew when to tell you to stop touching him. He also knew when it was time to tell you to stop holding him and when he wanted to be put down. But yes, ask me what happened, because he didn't have a voice. It's my job to be his voice. Because he will never have a voice, so it is my job to be his voice. But instead of asking me about what happened to him so much, like what happened to him so much, it would be nice if every once in a while somebody asked me who he was. Because I want to talk more about who he was every once in a while. This pain will never end. It will never ever leave my heart. And I'm still so angry at the world, at everything, even at people who don't deserve it. I'm so mean now. I'm mean, and I don't like it. When he left, he took a part of who I was with him. And that will never, ever be okay. I just want my baby back. And this might be selfish to say, but yes, I know he's in a better place. And I know he's in heaven, but I don't want him in heaven. I want him here.